you this before, and hopefully some of you do have a model in front of you. Understand that whenever you do something new, you are not going to be comfortable. And it takes many, many, many repetitions, doing things mechanically accurate many times before it actually feels comfortable. So I just wanted to remind you of that. The only way you get better is to do things over and over and over. So get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay, so the right foot, the navicular. Picture the navicular going inferior and medial. We're going to take the flat surface of our outside or left hand, put it on the lateral aspect of the right ankle with your fingers wrapped around the Achilles. Now, the contact point is on the sole of the foot. Okay, technically it's at the height of the medial longitudinal arch, approximately 3/4 of an inch lateral to the medial border of the foot. Now, picture a dot in the middle of your right thenar, and you're going to put that dot right where my finger is so that you look something like this. Now, my style is to have all of my fingers wrapped around the Achilles, my thenar contacting the sole of the foot, not the medial border, and both of my thumbs pointing toward the knee. Now, in order to adjust it, we need to bring it to a point of tension, and we're going to use inversion tension. Inversion tension is sole in. So you bring the sole inward, okay, and you picture a line from your thenar to the lateral malleolus, which obviously is opposite of inferior medial. This is superior lateral, and you thrust. This usually does not give a cavitation, and it looks like this. The contact point is right there. Excuse me. Okay. The contact point is right there. Thenar on the contact point, bring it to inversion, and thrust. It's that simple. Now, the cuboid. Some of you in the past learned it as the money adjustment, okay? The cuboid, due to forced inversion, picture the ankle rolling, okay? You can see that mechanically the cuboid goes superior and lateral. So you're going to take the flat thumb pad of the inside thumb and palpate the anterior lateral ankle like you see right here. Then, with your thumb pad, then you're going to slide that same thumb superior lateral until the distal interphalangeal joint is kind of hooked over the cuboid. Then you're going to take your outside thumb web and put it over your inside thumb web so both of your palms face you. Then you're going to step into the foot, put the backs of your hands deep in your knees, squeeze a little, pull a little, and then it's an axial pull. And it looks like this. Right there's the cuboid. Distal interphalangeal joint on the superior part of the cuboid. Outside thumb web over the inside thumb web. Backs of the hands deep in the knees, squeeze, pull. Now remember, there's contraindications to every chiropractic adjustment. Extremities are no different. The major ones, contraindications that is, are things like suspicion of fracture, suspicion of tumor, and probably vascular problems. But when I teach, especially when I teach students, I teach when in doubt, don't do it. Okay, next, the cuneiforms. Remember the 3 cuneiforms from the chart drop straight inferior. So we're going to stand on the outside or lateral aspect of the involved foot. So now we have a headward hand and a footward hand. We're going to take our headward hand and put our 4 finger pads on the medial aspect of the calcaneus. Now, picture a line that goes straight across the height of the medial longitudinal arch. Picture a line on the ulnar side, the little finger side of my right hand, and I put those 2 lines on top of each other like this and grab the top of the foot. Now, after you place your hand, you're going to bend over and squat a little bit. You're going to get your forearms parallel to the tibia, and you're going to picture a line that goes elbow to elbow. You're going to traction inferior with the headward hand and then thrust straight headward with the footward hand. And this is what it looks like. But let me tell you, the biggest mistake you'll make, if you make it, is your footward hand, the contact on the footward hand, the one that's on the arch, medial arch, will be too far anterior. So make sure that when you contact the foot, it's the ulnar border of your little finger, your little finger side of your hand, rather, is at the height of the medial longitudinal arch and not too far anterior. Now, if when you thrust you see dorsiflexion, you are too far anterior. So when you thrust, it should be right where you see this picture. This is what it looks like. 4 finger pads, medial calcaneus. Picture a line across the height of the arch. Picture a line on your hand. Put the line on your hand on the line on the foot. Line going elbow to elbow. Traction, thrust. So that's how simple it is. Okay, next are the med heads. This is one of those feel-good adjustments where you put your thumb pads on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th med heads, finger pads on the dorsum of the foot. You push superior with your thumbs, pull lateral medial with your fingers, and you do that 4 or 5 times. Push superior with the thumbs, pull lateral medial, 4, 5, 6 repetitions. Okay, next to the calcaneus. Next to the talus. Now, picture, okay, where my little finger is, where the nail of the little finger is, there is a V shape there called the talar cuboid sulcus or talar cuboid junction. That's actually the contact. The way that it is found is to go to the tip of the fibula, approximately an inch anterior and an inch superior. You'll feel a V shape. Okay, so if you're doing that right now, that's where the contact is. Okay, now the adjustment is done. by putting your thumb pads back on the second, third, and fourth met heads, overlapping your little fingers or ring fingers on the talar cuboid junction or sulcus that you just palpated. Now, the way that you adjust is to traction inferior, add slight dorsiflexion, and then do a scooping motion pulling toward yourself, okay? This cavitates most of the time along with a cuboid, and when you see, I'll show you the fibular head. So of the 7 adjustments I show you, 3 of them typically pop or cavitate, those being cuboid, talus, and fibular head. So let me show you the video on this. Put your thumb pads on the second, third, and fourth met heads, little fingers on the sulcus, elbows in close, traction, dorsiflex, scoop. Okay, next is the calcaneus. The calcaneus, like I said on the chart, and I thought I was able to show you with my hand, it's a hard motion to visualize unless it's in person, but basically goes down and out. And the way that you mobilize and adjust it is to take your outside hand, palm up, and with your flat palm, place it on the calcaneus with your thenar on the lateral calcaneus. Then wrap the rest of your fingers around the Achilles. The inside hand, in this case the right hand, comes in from the toes with your thumb across the top of the foot. Now you're going to do 2 motions at the same time. You're going to do 2 to 3 clockwise rotations. The bigger the rotations, the better the adjustment, as the outside or left hand keeps constant lateral to medial pressure on the calcaneus, and this is what it looks like on video. Thenar, lateral calcaneus, fingers wrapped around the Achilles, right thumb across the top of the foot. Big circles both ways with the right hand, as the outside thenar keeps lateral to medial pressure. Okay, now the last one is the fibular head. You're going to stand on the outside or lateral aspect of the patient's foot, facing their patient's face. With your inside hand, you'll grab just above the ankle with the outside index finger pad. You're going to find the fibular head bump. Now, look at my index finger and go all the way up the finger and see the metacarpal interphalangeal, the meta-MIP joint. You want to get that big knuckle on the posterior fibular head via a tissue pull that you'll see on the video so that it can be a fulcrum for a lever. Here's the point. If you have the proper tissue pull, you will go all the way around and you will not be able to see your big knuckle, so to speak, from your point of view. Now, once you take the proper tissue pull, you're going to bend the knee and bring the heel to the buttocks like this. Then without moving the headward hand, meaning the left hand in this picture, with your right hand only, you're going to thrust the heel to the buttocks, which will be a P to A thrust with your headward hand, okay? So this is the third one that usually gives a pop. Okay, so watch the beginning very quickly. Watch how far my big knuckle goes around the fibular head. So it goes all the way around. Bend the knee, then thrust the heel to the buttocks. Okay. Now, normally I do in my 12-hour sessions, you'll see that I do what's called deliberate practice. We do a series of of repetitions, either partial or complete, 30 to 36 of them, because repetition is the engine of learning. So what I'd like to do now, in relatively fast order, is I want to go through the right foot once, the left foot once, because surprisingly, if you know how to adjust the right foot, you actually have to teach yourself the left foot. And I'm going to teach you as a right-handed dominant for the right foot, left-handed dominant for the left foot.